I know that for many women, they may not start with an ambition as a schoolgirl to be a politician. I certainly didn't have that ambition growing up. Politics found me.
My idea of joining politics was I wanted to ensure that we give adequate chances to equip women with the necessary skills.
I was thinking by myself, what about to come one day to become a councillor one day? Then I can do a lot for the children as well as the community people.
Communities are beginning to change. They are beginning to realize the importance of putting women into decision-making positions. They are beginning to appreciate the presence of women in decision-making positions. They will tell you when you get to the community councils that since we have women councillors, there are improvements.
In August 2008, SADC heads of state signed the Protocol on Gender and Development. This raised the target for women in all areas of decision-making from the 30% set by the SADC Declaration on Gender and Development for 2005 to 50% by 2015.
Now we can cascade that nationally and regionally because we've got the muscle of this protocol to help take us forward in our governance work in local government. We've got 10 elections or so coming up in the region in 2009, 2010. There's probably 2 more elections in many countries before 2015. Now, if you're sitting at 15, 17, whatever, and you've got to get to 50%, you have to think pretty fast about how you're going to do that. Electoral systems, quotas, special measures, whatever the case may be, political parties, governments, civil society. It's an incredible mobilizing tool.
In the SADC region, women constitute an average of 22% of members of parliaments and 30% of local councillors, but this is uneven across countries.
There's huge variations within that. And if you look at the graph, it's like a zigzag all up and down.
Angola has the highest representation of women in parliament, and Botswana, Madagascar, and the Democratic Republic of Congo have the lowest. Of the available figures for local government, Lesotho is the highest and Mauritius the lowest.
Ce qui est très important de dire aussi, c'est que, parce que, étant donné que Madagascar vient de passer des élections, nous avons donc fini les élections au niveau des parlementaires, les maires, les députés. Donc ça, c'est parlementaire. Donc ce qui est très intéressant, c'est que le président de la République a essayé en fait de placer les femmes. Mais dans son discours, un jour, j'ai déjà entendu dire que, entre guillemets, qu'il a cherché des femmes, mais il n'a pas trouvé des femmes. C'est-à-dire que des fois, on propose aux femmes, mais ce sont les femmes qui refusent, en fait, d'être donc, par exemple, candidat. Donc, je peux quand même dire que ça va sur le bon sens, qu'il y a une bonne volonté de placer les femmes à Madagascar.
The countries that have done well, like South Africa, the parties like the ANC in South Africa, Frelimo in Mozambique, SWAPO in Namibia, the Scandinavian countries have been able to deliver the women as a result of a combination of proportional representation as an electoral system and quotas.
Namibia has a PR system, a legislated 30% quota, and a voluntary 50% SWAPO party quota at the local level, which alternates women and men on the list. The result is 42% women in local government.
I see this zebra thing in our country is a very good thing. There is no state that anybody can say a woman is a weak one and the man is the strongest one. Because nowadays we show out all our power as women, and we are busy with empowerment of women.
We have a political will from the head of state to really promote the cause of gender.
South Africa has a PR system, and the ANC has recently increased the voluntary party quota from 30% to 50%.
They have to appoint a new deputy president, and therefore I've appointed the Minister of Minerals and Energy, Phumzile Mlambo Ngcuka, as our new deputy president.
The former president, Thabo Mbeki, put his actions where his words were. He was not all words. He took the action. He appointed women in strategic positions, but also in all kinds of policy debates, not just in South Africa, in SADC, on the continent. You didn't have to lobby him. You could always rely him to be on the right side of the argument when it comes to women and to fight for it.
I think we have still very few as women, especially in the metro, at least the metros now, because it's Ekurhuleni, it's Tshwane, but there are, and the city of Cape Town, at least 3 out of 3 now. But in the past, it was 4 men and 2. From those municipalities. But in the rest of the country, I must tell you that the majority are still men.
The majority of SADC countries have a constituency or winner-takes-all electoral system, and they are opposed to quotas of any kind. Botswana is a case in point.
Quotas are very unpopular in Botswana. The ruling party does not believe in quotas, and they've made that very plain.
Currently, we have 7 women members of parliament in a parliament of 61. And 4 of those are elected, whilst 3 are specially elected. The majority of central committees of all political parties, including the ruling party, especially the executive, are made up of men. And yet, women are the majority members of those parties. And when it comes to positions, there's a tendency to feel that those positions should be occupied by men rather than women.
When I get into election, our women, they're still not sensitized that they can know or they can vote for another woman.
Right now we are struggling around 20%. So, and 2015 means just one more election. So I don't see us doing that unless we go to our legal framework and see what is it in there that can be changed to create that enabling environment. That can be done. If there is political will and commitment, it will be done.
Lesotho, which like Botswana has a constituency electoral system, is an example of how women's representation can be rapidly increased, even in this system. In 2005 local elections, the law reserved 30% of all constituencies for women. Women won seats in an additional 28% of constituencies, giving them a 58% majority, the only area of political decision-making in SADC in which this is the case. But even that came at a price, as Mr. Molefi Tsepe challenged the quota in a highly publicized High Court case.
Ke motho e mong wa ka tsebang ho ntshetsa motse wona wa habo bona pele hanga ka ba ukamela mmuso o ilare sebakeng sena se o keleng ho sona ho batla batho ba bomme
nyewa ka le ntate Molefi e ne le ha re ne re kitile mme le batwa le o keleng ho lona ne le kgethetswe bomme mme ntate Molefi o na sa kgotsofale ke hore e be le kgethetswe bomme o ne a lakatsa yena a ikitele yena a tle a hlolehe mo a ka hlolehang teng empa le setjhaba sa haeso se ne tla nne seng kgethe le ho jaanong tsa sa hlolwa ke nyewe.
Around the region, the message is that change is possible.
What we actually intend with these community dialogues is that we want to see more and more women getting into positions of power. Because as you might be aware, we are into our elections. In October, we'll be voting for people to go into parliament.
Uthi umnotho welive la kaNgwane wente njani usimame niyakubona lokho lokusho ukuthi ke kungako sitela sithi sekunjalo bomake vumani kukhethwa manje sekunconyiwe noma ke ube nenhlanhla wanconya lumele lolukhetho qhubeka uphikelele uye embili niyabona.
With only 6% of women represented in local government, Mauritian NGOs are ensuring that more women on the island are encouraged to stand for local government in the 2010 elections.
After our workshop and the deliberations, we came up with a very concrete action plan, and they promised, it's on record, the 3 villagers present, they are going to put more than 6 women on 12 or in each village in the 2010 election.
The Mauritius process has gone a step even further because it's taking the SADC protocol campaign to the local government level. And that is reaching a large number of people who know very little about gender and what it means and what the protocol can mean for them. So I think the synergies between the SADC protocol campaign and the local government work, it's a good pilot study.
We have to prepare our women folk right at grassroots level. Some women, when they hear the word politics, they're scared. But now politicians like us, ministers, women ministers, have to encourage women, help them to come forward, help them develop the necessary skills.
What we are doing immediately is having a sensitization campaign in this region, in Vakwa Phoenix, where they have 4 wards, working in the 4 wards to increase the percentage of women in local government.
In 2010, as we are empowering many women at the grassroots level to be in a member, that is first of all for village councillors, but we have to go one step higher than those women. I don't say those women cannot, but for me, I go for the member of parliament if I get the chance.
Women constitute half of the population, so they should be represented equally at all areas of decision making. I think more importantly, women add value. They bring different viewpoints, they have different issues and concerns, and these issues and concerns have often been silenced or marginalized.
I actually distinctly remember sitting in a board meeting with one investment banker of one of our top banks and talking about the mining charter and the different elements in it. And I mean, he literally laughed, ha, 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 and was like, I come from a mining background. I know a lot about mining, more than you will ever know. And I can tell you right now, what you're talking about will just never fly with us. And of course, the rest is history. They adopted the charter, they provided the equity, and his bank funded some of the transactions.
Can we find a way whereby we'll be also having a mechanism to make it a point that whatever that we'll be doing in terms of ensuring that the gender mainstreaming is realized?
We do a lot of work with local government. You want to get hands and feet in the region. This is the people you work through.
What we have here, we have got 5 councillors, 4 women and 1 man. So I think by sharing administration is not really a problem, but all what we need is a basic needs and a development.
If I can talk about the improvements that we've done since the time when we came in the council, is we try to build the houses, the 12 houses. Although we do have very serious accommodation problem in our village, we try to build more houses for the community people. And after all, we struggle again with the people in the informal settlement. We try our best to bring the services nearby to our people.
We itebaganyang le sone ke ikwadisetso ditlhopho e gompieno e saletseng ko morago. I must empower women to be in syndicates doing some project or big project or small project that they can help them from cutting off that poverty, because it's a lot of poverty here.
We launched what is called the Multi-Party Women's Caucus, where all women, irrespective of political party, they come together, they discuss common issues, because even if you are black or white, or you belong to this party or that party, issues of women are the same.
Men are of the opinion that gender equality means that their power is being taken away. Women are getting it, they're losing it. Women don't want to have all of the power. It's about equal participation, and to try and tell men that they're not going to be losing just for women to gain.
The media isn't known for its gender sensitivity, and organizations such as Gender Links worked widely throughout the SADC region to promote gender equality in government and the private sector through good media practices.
I think women in politics provide the media with a problem, because they challenge masculine authority, because politics is seen as a male-dominated, a male-center, it's about power. So women politicians are either presented as superwomen or demonized. Kathleen Lechabo, who stood for the elections for the opposition party in Botswana, and when she lost, she was shown in a cartoon as a castrated bull.
After the publication came out, the Botswana Media Women Association, which is also represented by Mansap, and who is also the GEMSA country coordinator, complain about the cartoons to the newspaper, especially because women have advanced a lot in Botswana. They've done so well for themselves. They hold the commanding heights in the economy, in business, in politics. So just to find out if the portrayals reflect the reality on the ground.
I think that those of us who are victims of unfair media, where you could be number 2 in the hierarchy of the country, but they see you sometimes as an extension of your husband.
While Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka was Minister of Minerals and Energy, championing the mining charter, her husband was Director of Public Prosecutions. He made Newsmaker of the Year, while she was the dinner guest.
I think that editors, shareholders in the media, if there are any gender-conscious shareholders, those are the people that need to be concerned with it.
As a producer, I tend to put a gender balance on every report that we are doing, and also to put an equality in everything we are treating. In our reports, we tend to put the gender balance on all reports. That is, women needs to be here and seen in the Mauritian television. And for the Mauritian public, because we have women viewers who watch our programs. They need to feel that they form part of the television that we are producing.
It doesn't matter how many women we have in parliament, how many women we have in cabinet, as long as our women in the rural areas, our women in the informal settlements remain poor, we cannot say we have achieved.
Well, the responsibility is for women to continue to fight for the space that we've all historically created. I don't think that the conditions for women will change by itself, not unless women are constantly raising crucial questions.
I always feel like in parliament, in cabinet, we had to do 1.5 times what the men had to do in order to be able to really feel like we are being appreciated for what we are doing.
This whole thing of empowerment of women is not really a cute thing, as sometimes people make it. It is so fundamental for survival of normal society. I cannot imagine a government without women.